G'day sports fans, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode we got another Romaniacs top tips video. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It'll do us a big favour, it helps a lot. So this week I got asked a really interesting question. What is the average speed needed to finish bronze class RedBull Romaniacs? Now I'm a numbers man and I thought that's a really cool question. So in this video I'll tell you why is it so important and how to use it in your training and during the race. Run the intro. So you can use these tips and tricks for the other classes. You just make sure you change the time bars times. Now the time bars, as you go lower down the classes, the shorter the time bars are because the tracks are easier. As you go upper classes, silver and gold, the longer the time bars are because their sections are really tough. Now first of all, Jesus, caught some sun today. Whew, that was a mad ride. Right, first of all, what is a time bar? Time bar is what you were racing against in Romaniacs. Not the guy next to you, not the guy in front of you. You were racing against your time bar. Every checkpoint and the end of every day has a time limit that you have to be at that checkpoint by. This is so that if you're falling behind halfway through the day, you're not going to make it and they don't want to be out in the middle of the night searching for people in the woods with the bears. You don't want to do that. So we know what the time bar limits are or were for 2022. I know how long the track was because I did it. So then we can work out how fast your average speed needs to be to beat that time bar. I will tell you my average speed, the winner's average speed, the slowest average speed, and the time bar average speed. So that's the one you need to beat. But Burnsy, you've told us before, ride your own race. Why do I need to know about this average speed business? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's going to help with the training. You can judge yourself, you can see where you're at, and you can have confidence from it. If you know your average speed is higher than what it needs to be, you can enjoy the race. You can also use it to track yourself during the race if you want to, but I won't recommend this because, you know, you've got a lot going on. So let me tell you how to train for the race and use the average speed stat.
So let me show you how to make a Romaniacs training loop. So to make a 120k training loop, which is an average day in Romania, is a little bit full on. So let's make it 30 kilometers long. So the first 20k's of it is going to be nice and easy, fast flowing trails, four-wheel drive tracks and open fields. This is a majority of your day in Romania. Then we're going to do 8k's a single track. Much slower than the other stuff, your normal single tracks, the type stuff that everyone loves. And the last 2k's of it is going to be 2k's of pain. You're going to want to make a track that includes creeks and logs and rocks and all that good stuff. You want to be pushing and maybe helping each other up hills. You want to be bulldogging the bike down the hills. And pretty much, if you're not crying, you're not trying. Don't forget, all of these sections, including the easy, fast-flowing stuff, must be on hills as best you can, because the underlying factor of Romania is hills. Now, a 30k loop is obviously not going to cut it. You don't train on a 30k loop for an 120k day, do you? So, you do it 4 times. And in my opinion, this will be a really good representation of what an average day in bronze class is like over there. And obviously you do 4 of these back to back. I know it's pretty hard to get the time to do 4 days of training back to back, but I would recommend trying it at least once before the race. And definitely do a few 2-day back to backs of this to get a good idea of how you're sitting. Maybe make a couple of these loops, different ones, run them forwards, backwards, left, right, whatever you want to do to change it up a bit. And keep a record of your average speed, because that's when the figures come into it. There's a few ways of keeping track of your average speed on the ride. You can use the hours and kilometers off the bike display. You can use phone apps like this Gaia, or however you say it, GPS app. That'll keep track of your speed too, but you're going to have to pull it out every time you want to check it. Or the best way is the Garmin e-Trex GPS, which you're going to be using in Romania anyway, so you may as well get used to it. Set the display up like this, and you'll have nice big writing to keep an eye of your average speed. Don't forget to reset the trip computer before you start, otherwise it's going to take into account what you've done in your last ride as well.
Alright, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Hopefully. So I won't bore you with the maths, but I've done all the figures and the results are in. These are the average speeds for bronze class Romaniacs 2022. Hope I can do this in one take or I'm going to get burnt. So the first place finisher for bronze class this year, his average speed was 27.5 k's an hour if you want to win bronze class. My average speed for this year was, and that got me into 77th place. So the slowest guy to finish the race this year and not have any days where he got time barred, he came 150th. His average speed was 16.2, so that's getting pretty slow. And the lowest average speed you can do to finish the race without going past any of your time bars is 15 kilometers an hour. As you can see, this guy was right on the limit. So this was a dry Romaniacs year, don't forget. I did the figures for 2019 when it was wet, and each one of them was like 2 or 3 k's an hour below what this was. Now, I know what you're thinking. Did I fire 6 shots or was it only 5?
Now, to tell you the truth, I forgot myself in all this excitement.
These are pretty low average speeds, but it's a 120k day, 6 hours. Simple maths.
That's mathematics, son. You can argue with me, but you can't argue with figures.
There's a lot of fast stuff in this race, but you can tell by these average speeds that the slow stuff, which is only a small part of it, is really slow. So you're gonna have to train to be super fast on the fast stuff, so it gives you a buffer when you hit the slow stuff and you're cuddling each other at the bottom of a ravine somewhere, that you've got enough time to finish the race before your time bar's up. So go and build that loop like I suggested, and come back and check what your average speed is. I think you're going to be surprised. Post in the comments below if this helped you with your training loops for Romaniacs. Let me know how you went. We will see you on the next one.